Pretoria West have once again thrown the spotlight on the sex trade in South Africa. Angry residents have torched alleged brothels and drug dens, saying they are fed up with the criminal activity and the lack of police action. Well, Ishtar Lakhani is the Advocacy Task Manager from the Sex Workers Education and Advocacy Task Force, SWET. She joins us now live from our Seapoint studios. Good afternoon, Ishtar. Welcome to SABC News.
Thanks so much.
Ishtar, a worrying trend emerging with sex workers being targeted in these areas. Just speak to us about their heightened vulnerability in volatile situations like these.
I mean, the statistics show that sex workers are 18 times more likely to be murdered than any other woman. In South Africa, particularly because we live in a context where sex work is criminalized, sex workers are pushed to the margins of society. So when it comes to heightened situations of violence, such as what is happening now in Rossetenville, as well as what's happening in Pretoria West, we see that sex workers are on the front line, are the first to suffer and the first to fall victims to violence.
What is the status of the law reform process? We know that started about 11 years ago or more. And why such a long delay to criminalize Ishtar? Is it a lack of political will or logistical hiccups?
I mean, the actual beginning of the law reform research project started about 20 years ago, and we've been waiting. Department of Justice has had this report for the last 2 years, and we're still waiting for its release. And that's the question we are asking ourselves, going, with such a crisis, with such an urgency, where sex workers are being murdered on a daily basis, where sex workers' human rights are being violated even by the police without any action, why is there so little political will? I mean, even some of our own government institutions support decrim. So why can't we see this report? Why can't we start engaging the public in this law reform process?
Your organization welcomed the move by Deputy President Ramaphosa and his National Work Sector Plan for sex workers in the country. Now, we at SABC News, we covered that launch, and his address, it did sound like a combination of a public health and human rights argument, and we got a sense that decriminalization would be speeded up. What's been the impact of that new plan on the industry, or is funding still a big glitch, Ishtar?
I mean, what was great about the launch of the National Sex Worker HIV Plan is it brought to the front the fact that sex workers are the front line in the battle against HIV. I mean, the problem with this plan is that the majority of the implementation of the plan is driven by civil society. So for us in that way, it's pretty much unsustainable. So until government takes this issue seriously, until government sees that decrim should be at the forefront of the agenda, we don't actually see a lot changing for the lives of sex workers in South Africa.
How should police best be handling the situation in Rossetenville and Pretoria West when it comes to cracking down on these prostitution rings, Ishtar?
I mean, at the very basis of it's about service delivery. It's about communities being unhappy with levels of violent crime in their communities. And we've seen that police officers and policing in South Africa are very badly resourced, especially in areas such as Rossetenville and Pretoria West. However, our position is that the little resources that are there could be better spent on policing more violent crime as opposed to policing adult consensual sex work.
How do members of the public or those who need help reach out to you? You have formulated what you call a rapid response team for legal assistance, I believe.
Yes, so well, we work in conjunction with our partners at the Women's Legal Center and various other legal agencies that are offering us support. We can be contacted through our national helpline, which is a 24-hour helpline, as well as through our offices, through our website, through our partner organizations. We have an office based in Johannesburg that can also be contacted, but we will also be there on the ground with peer educators and with our partners reaching out, doing outreach.
Ishtar Lakhani is the Advocacy Manager from the Sex Workers Education and Advocacy Task Force, joining us from our Seapoint studios in the Mother City. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us right here on the SABC News Desk.